So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a portfolio, and then additionally, if you'd like to add a template or create a template from that portfolio, I will show you how to do that as well. The easiest step is to go to your dashboard, and under My ePortfolios here at the top, click the Add button. So when this pulls up, you'll see a multitude of portfolio templates that have already been created or shared with you. You might not see as many as me because I'm an administrator, but you'll be able to select a thumbnail if you want, which I encourage you to distinguish against other portfolios. You can add the name of the portfolio that you're creating. So as you can see, other programs might have been created or pop up some names. And so for this example, we'll just type in Experiential 393, which is the fake program we're setting up today. You can change the URL and edit it here if you'd like to make it shorter, more specific, or something more relevant to the program. And you can always come back and change this information later. Otherwise, you're going to come find this tile here that says Create from Scratch. Make sure it's highlighted. You can preview it, or you can use the student template, which automatically pre-populates a couple of pages with some images and text box and gives students some examples of what some of the design features are. But for the example today, I'll just click Create from Scratch. Then you'll come down to the bottom right-hand side and click the Create button. Here, it'll give it a second to process. It gives you one landing page to begin with, and then you build it out from there. Once the page refreshes, then you're here and you have a blank slate to start working with. So in the title header section, it's locked to make sure that people don't accidentally delete too many things. So as you're navigating, you might have to come unlock that every now and again. You'll come in and unlock that tool. You can change the header up here or by using the editing tool over here on the right-hand side. Type in Experiential 393, Capstone. And this you want to think of as your administrative template. This is the one that you're going to go in. You can change semester to semester. This does not impact what the students will see until you create a template. So this is just basically giving you the free space to create your portfolio structure. And then eventually, if you want to make it a template, we will do that as well. So from here, you'll again make sure that this tool is unlocked in the heading section. Come and click this module and edit it. It'll pull up the page settings. This is how you add pages and add sub pages or delete any of the tools or the sub pages and pages that you might create. So you can either click add new page or just hit the enter button on your keyboard and type in final reflection, whatever you want these assignments to be for students to see, to turn in, or any descriptions that you want to add. So for reflections, presentations they might be doing in class, any of the additional items that you might have. And if you want to add any subsections, you can do that as well. So under the home section, I'm going to click enter, and then I'm going to move the module over just a little to the right. And let's say you want a specific dropdown under the homepage for a resume. Once you have the pages built out that you want, and again, you can come add, edit, and delete these as necessary. You click save, and it'll populate these tabs up here in the running bar. So these are the sections that students will work on. Each one of these tabs obviously is blank now, but then the student would be able to go in and add content and then submit their work. If you would like to add content, especially for descriptions, you can click the Add Content button here, the blue button at the bottom, or drag and drop anything that you already have in a document setting. So if you click Add Content, you can add a rich text box, then move it and adjust it anywhere that you see these checkboxes, and make sure it fits the size that you want. You can add images, videos, whatever is most helpful for the students to guide them to complete their assignments, and then write in any of the descriptions that you potentially might need, for example. Once you're ready, let's say that you've built out your pages, you've built out the descriptions, and you want to publish this and then turn it into a template you can share with students. You can come up here to the right-hand menu in the right-hand side, and you'll use this quite often. And I like to publish all of my pages at once. You can do it individually with the first step, but I like to do it all together. You can see that every one of the pages I've changed or edited has a draft button next to it, and all of these are checked and highlighted green. If I uncheck this, they just become blank and nothing will be edited or published. So I'm going to click all of them and click publish. That publishes them all at once. The first time you publish, it'll give you this tool. Again, it'll pull up the same portfolio settings and the main menu we saw in the beginning. It allows you to change any of the thumbnail that you might have or want adapted. It'll allow you to change the title and the URL, and then the permission sharing. For the purposes here, you can share your portfolio with the class, and they can view it and see the descriptions and the instructions. But if you want to give students a template to work off of themselves, you don't need to share it at this point. If you want to share this with the directory, you're more than willing to. I generally don't. So I uncheck that box. I make sure that there's no password required so students can access it in the future. And then I click Save Settings. So at this point, I've made a portfolio. I haven't shared it with anybody, but it's published, it's live, and it's ready to be shared or to create more from that moment. So for example, let's say that we have everything in place that we want. I'm going to create a template. When you do this step, make sure that your portfolio that you want to share with students is 100% ready and up to date. Once we create a template, it freezes that template in that moment in time. Once we give that to the student, any changes you make to your administrative portfolio will not be updated on their template, if that makes sense. Once we give it to the students, they can add features, they can edit them, they can even add new tabs if you change assignments in the future, but they will have to do that manually, which it's not that hard, and students usually figure it out pretty easily. But let's say we're ready for the next step, which is to add a template and give that template to the students in our course. So you go back up to this handy dandy right-hand menu, come down to the very bottom where it says Add as Template. And in this section, it'll show you a similar step for the template settings. But again, you can change any of the features and tools here, the thumbnail, the title, and the URL. I usually change this to student template, just so I can distinguish easily between my administrative template and the student template I'm sharing, but it doesn't change the name entirely. So it's easier to find, easier to locate. Once I do that, I come down here and make sure that none of the editing sections have changed. I don't have a description, which is not necessary. And then I can click continue, or you just manually click to the next step, which is who can see the template. At this stage, I still want to keep the template private to me, but I want to share it within other groups. If you want to make it open to anybody within Loyola, you can click this editing button and move to private within Loyola, and that shares it in the directory or the wider audience once an administrator approves that. Otherwise, I leave it private to me. And then where it says also share with people, groups, and courses, this is where you can share it with specific classes and students. So we'll click this editing tool. You can type in their name specifically or the whole course, and it'll share that with the course or the program assessment. So in this example, we created the Experiential 393 capstone. Once you type it in, you'll be able to see all the listings available. And it seems like there are a lot of them. There we go. So there's the 393 capstone. Here, it's added it to the faculty and to the students. So if I share this template now, it'll share that with both faculty and students so everyone can see, and it'll notify the users listed in the system. So once I do that, I'm ready. I'm going to click continue. It says default settings. I'm going to leave those how they are and click save settings on the bottom. And that template is now stored in the system, and anybody within this course or assessment group can see that template. For additional steps on how to get students to create a template within the system and navigate Digication and submit their assignments, follow the tutorials under the student tutorial section on Digication for the Learning Portfolio website.